How are you, Mooch?
Fantastic. Rich, what a weekend we had, huh?
That's unbelievable.
Man alive. You know, it was like the weekend before with all the college great games, and all of a sudden we start the NFL, and wow, a lot of close games down to the wire. A lot to talk about.
Yeah, it's the most 1-point victories in any week since the merger. It's unbelievable.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's two more games left.
You must have a real good research.
Well, it's tied. Well, it's actually tied for that since the merger. It's the most in week one for a kickoff in NFL history. It's truly unbelievable. Let's start with Del Rio's call going for two. You were next to me. I said go for two right off the bat. What were you thinking?
You did.
What were you thinking?
Well, okay, so I learned that only 4 times in the history of the NFL somebody went for two and won the game. Okay. And that was the first time on opening weekend. Okay, so that's a gutsy call because you don't want to get behind the 8 ball right away and start the season, everybody moaning about what you did and everything. But I really thought that it was the right time to do that. I didn't know he would, but when he went for two, I think he surprised even some of his players that were on the field.
Well, what goes through your mind as a coach when you're making that assessment in real time?
Yeah, and then I heard this, the analytics part of it is if you go for two, you make 44% of the time, and if they would have went for one, they would have won 51% of the time. But that's all the past games that were played, okay, in the history of the world. This is this game. This is now. Who are you playing? Is your team healthy? Are you exhausted? Is this an upset? I mean, I think what went through Jack's mind was, do we want to have Drew Brees on the field again? We can't stop this guy. If we go into overtime and they win the toss, we can't stop this guy. He threw for over 400 yards, and I will remind you of my bold prediction. But that's probably what Jack said. Hey, we came here to win the game. Let's see if we can do this right now. I don't want to play much longer against that Drew Brees kid, and so let's see if we can do it. I trust my quarterback, too.
Do you ever go for two in a spot like that, anywhere, at any level?
I've never had a game winner like that. I've gone for two before, see what the chart says,
That's
and then, that kind of thing. But never that big of a game on the road when it's crunch time. No, I haven't had that opportunity.
Now, you also have to take in consideration your job security, too, right? I mean, let's be honest.
Only if you're on the hot seat, Rich. If you're trying to prove yourself, if you've got a nice young team and there's optimism and you feel pressure, then it's job security. But Jack's not in that situation at all. They love him there. He's got a good rapport with the owner and Reggie McKenzie. He's got a young team, Rich. They only have 5 guys on their roster over 30 years old. This is a team that a win like this can really affect their confidence in a positive way. And wow, that was a call of the season right there. You're going to see that if they make the playoffs, they're going to go right back and rewind to that 2-point call decision in the opener. Wow.
Steve Mariucci joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. Which one looked more impressive to you, Wentz or Prescott? I know the win-loss was different, but break that one down for me from what you saw yesterday.
And then here's another thing. Carson Wentz's touchdown pass in the first quarter of the first set of games was the first touchdown scored in this 2016 season.
That's
okay,
true. Mm-hmm.
Happened to be against the Browns, who could have taken him. Boy, it's kind of funny how things work out, huh? I was really impressed with Carson Wentz, from his game management to his toughness. He threw a 4th and 4. He hit a slant against full blitz. They hit him right in the broken rib, and he completed it. And then the next play was bang, touchdown. I mean, it was really a courageous game, a smart game. He checked when he should. He kept the play on when he should. He showed accuracy, toughness, leadership, the whole thing. I was very impressed with Carson Wentz. I think the Eagles have found, it's early, it's one game, but I think they found their quarterback for the future. Dak Prescott, wow. His preseason was probably more impressive than his game against the Giants, but he did most things right. His passer rating wasn't sensational or anything. He missed some throws. He didn't throw touchdowns or interceptions or anything. He was just steady. But what he showed me, and I think he showed the fan base, was this guy can get it done in the absence now of Tony Romo. That last play, I mean, he really should have had a win, right? Or at least an attempt to win. Unfortunate that Terrence Williams didn't run out of bounds.
Now, is it fair to blame the coach on that, Steve? I mean, shouldn't Terrence Williams be? Yeah, shouldn't everybody in that huddle know you can't run out of bounds in that situation and be coached to do that sort of thing?
You know what I want to find out? I haven't had a chance to do this yet. Maybe you can ask one of your guys there before we're through. The play before that play when they snapped the ball with 12 seconds on the clock, I can't remember if they were in a no huddle or if they were in a huddle. Because, Rich, if they were in a huddle, the quarterback, a veteran quarterback, any quarterback really should say, guys, here's the play, here's the situation. If you catch it, get out of bounds. You would remind your guys, whether it's elementary or not, you would remind your guys of that. But I don't know if they were in a huddle, and if so, I don't know if Dak did that or not, okay? They may very well have been in a no huddle, which really, limits the quarterback's ability to do those kinds of things. It was unfortunate. It would have been a long field goal attempt anyway. I don't know, maybe 60 yards or something. But I could maybe find out if they were in the huddle or not. If so, Dak should have reminded everybody to do that.
Steve, the play before it was an incomplete pass over the middle.
So we're assuming they were in the huddle.
Yeah. Or at least somebody's got to be able to say, you got to go down bounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you always blame the coaches and all that kind of thing too. But when you're you're coaching soccer and somebody misses an easy shot, am I going to blame you, Rich? Am I going to blame you?
No, but you're going to blame me for not playing your kid enough, Steve. That's what you're going to be doing.
How did Cooper do?
He scored a goal yesterday.
He scored a goal.
Yes, that's what I did after game day morning. That's what I did.
Fantastic.
Let me take a break here, Steve. When we come back, I want to ask you about the job Belichick did last night, and obviously about your weekend with Izzo in Springfield, Mass. I would love to at the Hoops Hall with Shaq and Iverson and Yao Ming getting in and Bill Russell walking around. You were right in the middle of it. I can't wait to chat with you about that. We're back in a minute's time with Steve Mariucci. If you're on hold, please stay on hold. We'll take your calls as well. Right here on the Rich Eisen Show. Back in a minute.
We go to the NFL Hall of Fame every year in Canton, Ohio, and it's such a spectacle, and it's a great event. And then this is my first time over there in Springfield, Mass, for the Basketball Hall of Fame. And God, what a thrill! What a thrill to see my buddy Izzo go in, and very well deserved. And you mentioned earlier that Shaq went in, and he was funny. He's a big funny guy, man. And Yao Ming, Shaq told the story, Rich, that he played against Yao Ming for 3 years, never talked to him once because he didn't think he could speak English. And then Shaq hit a jump shot, and Yao Ming said, "Nice shot, bro." And he said, "You speak English?" After 3 years. And then Allen Iverson was a kick. Oh, boy. I saw Allen Iverson at 5:30 in the morning.
What do you mean?
When I was leaving to catch a flight to come back from production meetings that I got to, and you didn't.
That's
you
right.
were in Michigan.
That's right.
Allen Iverson walking across the street with his buddy. Allen didn't have any shoes on. He was walking across, he was having a good, and we started yapping away and about Philly fans, right? And obviously there were a lot of Philly fans in that Hall of Fame venue. And he says, "Yeah, and you remember these fans who booed your guy Michael Irvin when he got hurt?" And then we were talking about that. Oh, geez. And the funniest thing, I congratulated Cheryl Swoops, and she goes, "Hey, Coach, how you doing?" She knew me. Cheryl Swoops knew me. I had no idea she would know me. Well, it was so much fun.
What do you mean Iverson didn't have any shoes on, Steve? Where was this, in the lobby, on the streets? What are you talking about?
No, crossing the street. He was coming from we stayed at the Sheraton, and he was in the other building across with a buddy, and he just walked across the street, and it was just casual clothes on. But I looked down, and he just didn't have his shoes on. He had socks. I don't know why. I didn't ask him about where's your shoes, Alan. But
maybe he crossovered right out of him. I mean, so hold on a minute. Was he coming back in from something, Steve? Did you think he was?
You know what? It didn't seem like it. It didn't seem. There's not a lot to do. I mean, over there, and he was great, and his friend was great, and we probably just stayed up. I think everybody had just like at the NFL, everybody has a little get together afterward, and he probably did in the other building across the street.
Did you get to meet Bill Russell, Steve?
No, I didn't.
Oh, what a bummer!
I didn't. Boy, he's really something. I was a Boston Celtic fan. I'm sure. I don't know if you were or not back there, but
wait a minute, you weren't a Pistons fan up in the UP? You're not a Pistons fan as a Uper?
The Bad Boys. Yeah,
growing up in Iron Mountain, Michigan, you're rooting for the Packers and the Celtics. Is that what you're saying?
You know what? I just love Bill Russell and Casey Jones and Sam Jones and John Havlicek and all those guys. I don't know why. And Red Auerbach with his cigar, and his trainer would light up a cigar too. It was just fascinating back then. And they were winning every year, it seemed like, and they just had such a dynasty. I don't know. They just caught my attention when I was a young kid.
Well, let's talk about the all-time coach that currently is in Boston. I'm with Steve Mariucci here on the Rich Eisen Show. How does Belichick keep doing this, Steve? How does he keep coaching up guys who are second and third on the depth chart that anywhere else would probably poop the bed in a big spot, and they all play fundamentally sound football and come out with a win like last night? How does that happen?
I shake my head sometimes because, being a former coach, you have a little bit different perspective about teams and about coaches and how they're winning. And sometimes you go, well, that guy inherited a hell of a team, and that's why he's winning. And that guy has got a great quarterback, and that's why he's winning. And that guy is not cut out for it. Whatever. I just marvel every year with Bill Belichick, and we've never worked together. We're not drinking buddies. We know each other and all of that. But I just marvel at the job that he does. Now, and I kind of unofficially study that organization a little bit and watch it because it's been more successful than you would think it should be. And he seems to hire very, very bright, smart people, okay? Like his coordinators, okay? Josh McDaniels, very bright guy, okay? Fiery guy, but smart. Matt Patricia, this guy's like a borderline genius kind of a guy, okay? Just off the football field. And then I remember, Rich, when they had won, with Willie McGinnis back in the day, when they won 3 Super Bowls in 4 years or whatever it was back then, that little dynasty that they had, they had more college graduates on that team than any team in the National Football League. I don't know what their deal is now with their players or anything. I don't. But I do know that being smart is on top of his priority list when he evaluates coaches, players, anybody in the building. It's a smart bunch. And I'm watching that game last night like everybody did, and we all thought the Cardinals would win it at home against the banged-up Patriot team. Well, all of a sudden, that Jimmy Garoppolo kid from Eastern Illinois is playing his butt off, all right? No Gronk. You're talking about a undermanned kind of a team that really, for much of the game, took it to the Cardinals. I was really, really impressed. Wow.
Now,
That's all I got to say. Now they have 3 home games with Garoppolo.
Yeah, I know.
They could win them all.
I know. And then Brady comes back, and then the rest of the AFC East is lost. I mean, what an incredible week 1 for a team that this was supposed to be the 1 week we were wondering how would they do it without Brady? How would they do it without Gronk? And how are they going to survive? And now, it's the amount of house money can fill up the entirety of Gillette. Before we let you go, the poll question currently right now on the Rich Eisen Show, app that you can download the Apple App Store. Chris Brockman, have at it for Mooch.
Yeah, Mooch, what was the most impressive win from Sunday? Was it the Chiefs, Lions, Patriots, or Raiders?
Are you allowed to vote for the Lions, Steve?
Sure I am. The Patriots, to me, it was the big upset. I didn't think the Lions game was an upset. I thought it was a toss-up kind of a game anyway against a banged-up Colts team. And the Chiefs, we all thought they would win at home, But the Patriots playing, not just upsetting the Cardinals, but really playing that well, both sides of the ball. The Cardinals played well, too. How about Larry Fitzgerald?
He's unbelievable.
But Yeah, I love that guy. I hope he doesn't retire. I just hope for the sake of the league he doesn't retire. He's so good for sport. But to me, it was the Patriots' upset win at the Cardinals.
Thanks, Mooch. I will see you on Thursday, okay?
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Maybe a bet. That's Mooch.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.